Hey everybody, today we're gonna make a gingerbread cake with snow sugar. But before we get started, subscribe to Food Network's YouTube channel right here. We're gonna jump right in. The first thing that I've done is preheated my oven to 375 degrees. This cake is gonna come together really quickly, and you wanna make sure that your oven is ready to receive your deliciousness. The other thing is we're gonna make sure that our butter is at room temperature. Let's go. I need 3 whole eggs. Make sure your eggs are at room temperature. 1, 2, 3. Now I need 2 egg yolks. The best tool is what? Hey. So, make sure your hands are clean, no oil, no lotion. You see how easy that is? If you get a shell in your eggs, then use the shell to get it out. All right, now I'm just gonna whisk those up. I'm gonna add in some vanilla. I just wanna make sure that the yolks are all mixed up. And a lot of times you will see recipes where you're adding extra yolks. You just wanna add extra fat without the water from the whites. And now I'm gonna add my molasses. One of the tricks of getting your molasses out, you can always use oil spray to spray into your bowl and it will just slip right on out. I love the smell of molasses. All right, you see that looks all good? It looks like it's all together, homogenized. Now we're gonna do our buttermilk mixture. Adding water to your cakes makes them really moist. Simple, simple, simple. And I can use the same whisk. Now I'm gonna put together my dry mixture. It's all about the spice. I have cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and cloves. And then I'm gonna add my sifted cake flour. Let's talk about cake flour. Cake flour has less gluten than all-purpose flour. It will give you a lighter cake. So if you don't have cake flour, you can sometimes take all-purpose flour and cornstarch. So go ahead and look up a recipe so that you can see what the ratio is and you can get it done. All right. Well, I'm adding baking powder and salt. All right, and here we have our spices. We've got our cake flour, we've got our baking powder, and we have our salt. And now I'm gonna add the sugar. And you will see that this is a different method of actually making a cake. A lot of times people think that they're gonna take the butter and cream it with the sugar, but I'm doing a reverse method. So I'm using dark brown sugar because dark brown sugar has more molasses in it. And that's what makes it the light and dark. So you can make your own brown sugar by taking regular granulated sugar and adding molasses. I like using my hands because I'm mixing up the brown sugar until I don't feel any lumps. Next, we're adding the fat. I'm gonna put on a glove. I specifically chose this method to use my hands or to not use a stand mixer because everybody doesn't have a stand mixer. And the reason you do this is because you're not overdeveloping the gluten, so it produces a really tender cake that is moist and delicious, and it has a really nice crumb. We talk a lot about vegetable oil cakes when you're making a cake. The butter is gonna add the flavor, but if you have vegetable oil, it's gonna be very tender at room temperature. All right, I think this looks good. Doesn't that look good? It smells amazing, and it's just all sandy. And now we're gonna add in the liquids. Okay, I'm gonna add in the molasses mixture. I like to work with a stiff spatula when I'm doing things by hand. And I do this little hash motion. It's not quite folding, but I just wanna make sure everything gets incorporated. So here's my buttermilk mixture. Okay, let me beat this. This gives you a little workout, just beating it until it's nice and smooth. All right, so now what I have 2 loaf pans that I've prepared. It's oiled, parchment paper, and then oiled again. And I have the extended collar here so that when the cake bakes, I can just lift it out and let the cake cool. So I'm gonna divide my batter into these pans. And I know it seems loose, but it's gonna be perfectly fine. If you want, you can also use a cup measure so that you can do things more exacting. All right, so last little bit, we have chopped up candied ginger, which is gonna add not only freshness, not only texture and chew, but also that intense ginger flavor. So this is gonna be so good. And some of these pieces are gonna fall in the middle of the cake, so you're gonna get all of that ginger chew throughout. So there's ginger on top of ginger. I love ginger. All right, into the oven we go. And we know it'll be done when a toothpick goes into the center, it comes out clean. It's gonna take about 25 to 30 minutes. But let your nose determine. All right, everybody, we're gonna make our snow sugar now. We have our granulated sugar in the bowl. We're adding cornstarch. And now we're gonna add coconut oil. So you're probably thinking, why are we doing this? We're doing this because we don't want granulated sugar, we don't want powdered sugar, and adding the coconut oil gives us something in between. So we're gonna mix this up and we're gonna put it in the refrigerator for about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, see that? So easy. So this is our snow sugar. You can see how there are some lumps and clumps in there, which is fine, it's perfect. It is ready to be sifted. I'm taking a fine mesh strainer and I'm gonna put my sugar into the fine mesh strainer. You ready? Now we're gonna make it rain. Look at that. I also can see that somebody may wanna put some color in the sugar. And honestly, while you're at it, if you wanna add a flavor. But it is so simple and so beautiful. Look at that. Wouldn't you want this on your holiday table? Now to cut. All I want is for people to saw. Just saw the cake. Don't mash the cake. You saw the cake so that you have a nice edge. Ready for the big reveal? Look at that. Some for myself. It's a little thick because, you know, who doesn't like gingerbread? It is so moist and light. It is tender, the aroma, but you can't just smell it. Dude, if you can't compliment yourself, why are you making it?